for 8 hours. That would be sweet. Okay. All right. Says it's live here. Let's go ahead and check
It's
it on the
live.
channel. We are live now. Sweet. I'm gonna go ahead and pause all my audio feeds so it doesn't get interrupted. All right. Let's check the YouTube side. Hey, Grim is here. Oh, there we go. All right. There we go. Okay, guys, I want to welcome you to Caliber Corner number 3. It is early on a Saturday morning, and we've already got a dedicated panel hanging out with us. Let's take a look and see who's joining us on the YouTube side. We got Grim. Grim is here this morning. Grim90, he's a Patreon supporter of mine. I want to welcome you, Grim, to the podcast. I know we'll have more guys joining in saying, hey, you already started? Yes, we did. Yes, we did. All right, so panel starting on my left. AWAG, you want to plug anything? You want to say a few words before we get started?
Just check out my channel. Thank you for the invite, Travis, by the way.
Cool.
To
And
AWAG 1000. It's the one with, well, now the back tail light of my Toyota Supra. Other than that, yeah, check out my Instagram too. It's AWAG 1000 as well.
yeah,
So
Supra's coming along nicely. So
yes.
will you be getting out and doing a few more gun videos this spring? You gonna head out and do a few more?
I'll try because right now I'm like not financially that well off because
Yeah.
I'm paying like $900 a month on car insurance for 2 cars, and I
Yeah.
just had to put a clutch in the Supra, which was another $700, which is pretty.
Well, having a car or a toy like that, it's like having a girlfriend or a wife. I mean, not just the money just goes right in. You just pour the money at it, and yeah, that's all right. It's all right. Cool, man. Well, hey, I want to thank you for joining me. I know it's early. It's early for us. You guys are an hour ahead of me, so you're lucky. But still, it's early for a lot of people. All right, nice strike. You want to plug anything? Want to say a few words?
Yeah, you can find all of us on Hit or Miss every Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock.
Awesome. I love joining in on those podcasts. Those are very cool. Squib, you want to say anything this morning? What's going on?
Yeah, thanks for the invite. Thanks for an
Yeah.
excuse to lay out magazines all over my overly crowded reload bench because it's fun to look at all of my acquisitions that I've forgotten about.
Yeah, I know. I dusted off a few of them.
Yeah, no kidding. It's like, oh, I forgot I had this. And also, I know it's kind of late, so I'd say maybe if you can watch it after the fact. Lock and Load on Monday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern. I try to make the shows if I can.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. And I am Travis P11, guys, and I want to thank you for being here and thank everybody for joining in. So the discussion today, we're just going to talk about polymer versus steel magazines. And one of the reasons why is because I've been burned a couple times on some magazine purchases, both polymer and steel. And I just wanted to get some feedback and let the listening audience get some information from you guys. Pros and cons of both models. We'll look at the AR-15 and the AK-47. Any good luck you've had with certain brands, any bad luck you've had with certain brands, and then we have to tell my second most legendary story, aside from the the CPX2, is the Croatian magazine story that comes up a lot in a lot of these podcasts because it was an interesting situation I had on an impulse purchase that I got burned on. So AWAG. Anybody can join in. I guess it doesn't matter. AY, do you have an AR-15? You do have an AR-15, right?
Well, technically, I have two.
Okay.
This is the one that I built, and this This is the Sig Sauer 5.56 XI.
Oh yeah,
it still counts.
Beautiful rifles, man.
Yeah, thanks. And I have a Savage Model 10 FCP kind of hiding in the back there.
Yeah, there you go. So, there you go. I was going to ask you, do you have a preference in magazines? Do you go for steel or polymer? Or what do you like to do? When you look for mags for a gun, do you look at price? Do you have a brand that you stick with or what?
Well, when it comes to New Jersey, you're kind of limited on what you can get. My local gun shop actually buys 30-round magazines, and he basically rivets a mag block in them, which sort of cuts down on reliability sometimes because... But depending on these two guns, my Sig does not like PMags for some reason. It's hard to put the magazine in, and they don't drop free when you push the mag release. So it likes the Lancer L5s.
Yeah, I've got one of those too. The Lancers are very, I'm assuming, or no, I guess I don't have a Lancer. I got an MFT, but they're very smooth, almost like a steel mag towards the top, very thin profile. Now you said that's a 5.16. Your Sig?
It's a 5.56 XI.
Oh, 5.5.
It's
Okay,
their,
okay, gotcha. All right. And then what about from the AK end? What's your preferences for mags? Do you stick with just one particular type or style? What do you like to do?
Since I have an AK-74, I'm kind of stuck with these because my local gun shop won't. He doesn't want to spend $50 on a Bakelite magazine just to cut it down.
Yeah, yeah.
But this specific magazine I have about 850 rounds through, and it has not failed me not one time.
And that's
I'm pretty pleased with it.
Tapco, right?
Yes, correct.
It's a Tapco. Okay, cool, cool. So
it's
you're kind
the faux Bakelite ones.
Now, have you ever thought about going with like a mag? Does Magpul make a mag limiting kit, like a plug, like a special follower you could put in it that would block the number of rounds you could put in the magazine without having to modify it with the rivet? Have you looked around for any kits at all? Yeah.
State law specifies that you have to have a pin, or at least has to come from the manufacturer like that. So since these are 30-round magazines, they have to be pinned and welded.
Like just physically modified in a way that you can't easily bring them back to full capacity, essentially, right?
Correct.
So permanent modification. Okay, I gotcha.
Now,
yeah,
there is sort of an exception. The Hex Mag, they make a New Jersey state legal one that is 15 rounds.
Okay.
And that, from my knowledge, I'm probably self-incriminating myself here, but they come from the factory with 15 rounds, and not many people pin and weld them. So it's either the local FFL's fault if that's wrong, because they're the one that are selling them. So
okay. Do those cost more? Is there a premium you got to pay for those? Like, are they $10 more, $15 more? Or you pay $30 a mag or 25?
These are the Hex Mags themselves. Obviously, this one that I have in my hand is well worn, that I painted. This one I bought for like $10, so they're not too expensive.
Awesome.
Whereas the Lancer mag I paid $40 for, because I had to pay for the mag block and the magazine itself.
Oh wow. Okay. Gotcha. And then we talked about the AK-47. So all right. Nice Strike. What about you? What's your preference in AR-15 magazines? What do you like to go with?
Normally just use GI mags. You know, just the standard aluminum GI mags that you can get at gun shows for like, between $5 and $6 a piece. Because all I do is I just get those and I just replace the followers with Magpul followers.
Yeah, because I mean, from the factory, I know there's companies that offer the Magpul follower equipped steel, GI mags already. But you probably pay a little bit more. But how much do the followers run you?
AR GI mags, they're not steel; they're aluminum.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, yeah, I have seen people say, yeah, we've got aluminum GI mags. The issue is, they're originally aluminum, and I would rather have aluminum over steel GI mags because steel adds too much weight. Okay.
Yeah, we're just talking, I guess I should say metal versus polymer when it comes to the whole magazine, the whole magazine issue.
Yeah, and I know the topic says polymer versus steel.
Yeah.
But steel really only applies when you're talking like AK mags.
Yeah.
Or, or the rare occurrence where you don't have aluminum HK mags, you got steel HK mags.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Do you have other than the magazines I sent you, do you have any other polymer magazines that you use? You big on PMags at all? Magpul or anything like that? Do you have any of those in your collection?
I've got a ton of PMags.
Yeah.
I've even got some Pro Mags. And I know Pro Mag, we already had a discussion about that, but the issue is I've got a couple that work just flawlessly fine. So honestly, if they work fine, that's all I need.
Yeah, that's all that really matters.
So I use a little bit of everything, but I prefer just to use the USGI mags for my AR-15.
Where do you source them from? Do you have a particular place you like to go when you pick them up?
Yeah, the gun shows.
Just the gun shows. That prices are pretty comparative to buying online then?
Yeah.
Okay.
So sometimes it's cheaper to get them at the gun shows because then I don't have to go and pay for shipping.
Yeah, that's a good point. And then you said sales tax. You have to pay internet sales tax on all of your gun accessory purchases from everywhere, or is that just with PSA because they're in your state?
Just with PSA because PSA is based in South Carolina.
Okay. Gotcha.
So.
Cool. So yeah, so you got to mix then too. I think most of us have just at least a few of each type. Your metal versus your polymer. Squib, what about you? What are your experiences with the AR, the AKs when it comes to mags?
Well, with the AR, that's probably what I've got the most mags for. Just because if I see a good price, I'll pick one up. That and um, when I first, actually, even before I got the AR, I started buying mags, and I was trying to get aluminum GI mags from different contractors. So you go to the gun show, and you'd see it, it'd have a different stamp on the base plate.
Oh yeah, yeah. So you can see where the
OK Industries, C Products.
Yeah,
that
there you
kind
go.
of mags.
Yeah, that sort of thing. So I guess it was sort of okay, I'm going to need mags when I get the rifle, and I kind of want to do a little collecting too and comparing. So I've got a few different odd varieties of aluminum GI mags, 20 and 30 rounds, and then a few of the aftermarket low capacity mags. I think like 5, 7, and 8 rounders. Just to try them out. They whether they're pinned or cut short or something. And I haven't had a problem with any aluminum magazine that I've got new or used. I've got one steel magazine. I can't remember who made it. I got it a long time ago. No issues with that. I've bought aluminum and stainless steel from ASC, Ammunition Storage Components, and haven't had any issues with those. I'm kind of late to the whole polymer thing. I guess it goes back to the whole, I'm just not used to the idea of polymer guns and polymer parts, and to have a polymer magazine or a polymer receiver frame or polymer sights or all that. It's kind of weird, and I'm accepting it slowly. So I went out and I picked up Magpool and tried it out, and it worked fine. I was really surprised. So then I went and got a few others. Let's see. This is Lancer. That one worked pretty good.
They're supposed to be really good too. Yeah.
And then when I was digging through, I found 2 other polymer ones still in the package. I haven't even tested them out. I got a 32 round Daniel Defense.
Oh yeah.
Haven't tried it. And then I got a Hex Mag. Haven't tried that. And my understanding is Hex Mag, they bought the old Magpul equipment factory, everything in Colorado when Magpul moved out.
Oh. So are the Hex Mags actually produced in Colorado, or did they move the machining and the stuff out of the state?
My understanding was when Magpul left, they left an office in Colorado with a few of their employees, and they took all the production out of state.
Yeah.
And the rumor I heard was that Hex Mag went in there and bought it all for a song. So if you're getting a Hex Mag, even though the outside of it looks different, you're getting an older generation Magpul, which means it's reliable. But I mean, if somebody double check that if they want this, that's just what I heard on the internet. So I don't know if it's true, but it sounds plausible.
But I can get P mags at my local, my pawn shop. SS Pawn carries them. I can get them for like $13 or $14. I mean, online $12 or $13. So I mean, are you really gonna gain anything from going the Hex Mag route if you're just getting essentially a P mag? If we could confirm it, would there be any advantage?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'd be, say, the difference between Beretta and Taurus. Think about it like this.
Yeah.
Your Tauruses are built on the old Beretta tooling from the 70s and 80s, right? Mm-hmm. And the quality's there. So, because it's a proven design. Okay, so the safety's in a different spot because it's the older model. But otherwise, I mean, it's a proven design. So, I mean, I'm not in the pocket of big Hex Mag. I haven't even taken this thing out of the package and tried it. So I guess that's what I need to do. But if it is just older Magpul stuff, it should work just fine. Typically, though, I prefer the aluminum mags, the GI mags, like what Night Strike was talking about. You just can't go wrong with it. I understand they can dent and things like that, but I guess it's just I'm old school. Now, for my AK, though, I kind of went the other route. I didn't get on the AK bandwagon until last year. I just never really wanted one.
Was it the lower price that brought you into the AK world? The fact that now you can, well, I don't want to say lower price, but it seems like there's so much offering out there, so many different companies you can go through, and you can, get one for, you can get AMD 63 for $450.
No, it wasn't the price at all. If anything, Matt would shame me for paying too much from my Wasser. Because what I did was I did a panic buy last year. I had some extra money. Yeah. There was one available at the store. I said, Hillary's going to get elected. She's going to take these things on her second day in office. I might as well get one to have one. I didn't plan to sell it or anything like that. I just figured if one day one of my kids said, "Man, I really wish you had gotten an AK, Dad," that wouldn't be the case.
Yeah.
Actually, I like it. I like the rifle. I didn't think I would. I've only fired 3 AKs, and I haven't been disappointed by any of the ones I fired. But it just wasn't on my radar, and so I paid too much for it, and I got it, and it's a good rifle. But most of the magazines I have for it are polymer. It came with 2 polymer mags.
Yeah.
So
Tapco or PMags?
It came with 1 Tapco and 1 PMag.
Okay.
Which was weird. And then I heard that later Wassers only came with 1 mag. So I guess I got somewhere in between. It wasn't an early one, but it wasn't brand new. I think it was made in 2015 or something. Okay. So because Wassers Romanian, even though I heard on gun channels that it's a commercial Romanian rifle, it's not necessarily a military Romanian rifle, I got a Romanian steel mag. That works just fine. I previously had a Polish steel mag. That one works fine. You can't even tell them apart. And then I went back and I picked up some polymers. I got one made by Fab Defense.
Oh, Fab Defense.
I think it's Israeli.
Yeah.
It's a small mag. It's a low capacity. It fits in that sight and clean that you're always putting your rifles on when you do your videos.
Yeah.
I've used that at the range, and if you've got a 30-round mag, you're not getting the rifle in it.
Oh, it's the same way with my lead sled too. I have with my my lead sled that I use, the one that I bought. Even though it's designed for semi-autos with mags, the 30 still touches the bag of lead shot that I use. If you had like a flat lead weight, the mag would not touch it. But I usually use a 10-rounder or 20-rounder when I do range testing anyway.
Well, I like to shoot offhand, but for certain tests, having a fixed rest that kind of takes some of the human factor out of it is helpful. And my son, he likes to shoot from a bag or a rest or something like that. So I needed the low profile magazines for the AR and the AK, so we could go ahead and put those in there. The same thing with his 1022. He's got the high capacity mags, but they stick out too far, so we just got to use a stock mag. The rotary mag for the 1022. Which is polymer, by the way. So because of the rest. So and if I ever want to use this for hunting, I've got the lower capacity mags for hunting. But I've got that, and then I've got a thermold, which everybody rags on, but I don't have any problems with this thing. So, I've got a couple Tapcos, I've got a couple Magpoles, a thermold, a Fab Industries, and 2 metal ones, and I want to get the Croatian one to try it out. But I think I would still... I want to try it out, man.
No, for $9, for $8, if you don't like it, you can always send it to Night Strike, and he'll send you a Tapco in exchange.
Well, that or I'll just throw it in with all my junk and say, well,
Tapcos are Tapcos will work, and Croatians will work in my AK, and that's all that matters.
But now
we'll get to that. Just hold your fire. Hold your fire there, Night Strike. We'll get to the Croatian mag debate.
I collect this stuff too. So if it doesn't work, but it's not going to break the bank. Okay, it's like, okay, this is just another, I can compare it. Or you never know, somewhere down the road I might get another AK. Yeah. I mean, I would love to get one of those micro Dracos. Those things, you would think they kick like a mule, but they don't. I can't believe how light the recoil is on them.
I wondered about that. Kind of when you start to get into pistol length AK, like what is the handling and the feel like? Is it pop? Do you have to really hold on to it? So, yeah.
We were at our local range last year, and somebody was shooting the micro one, the shorter of the two, I guess, AK pistols. And he asked me if I wanted to shoot it, and I'm like, And I shot it with 2 hands, and it didn't really kick. So he said, try it one-handed. So I did, and I couldn't believe it. So I handed it to my 9-year-old. He's 10 now, and he was blasting away with it, and it didn't give him any issues. And I said, wow, if a 9-year-old can handle this, and there you go.
This is not helping me because I'm on the fence if I should get a pistol caliber AR AK, and it's like I keep seeing them, I keep getting these deals for them.
I tell myself if I wanted a pistol caliber handgun, I would go get one of those DFRs, and that's chambered in something, or like a Raging 30 and 30 carbine or something like that. I'd get a revolver.
Yeah.
But it was so comfortable to shoot. The thing is, it's really impractical for anything other than a range toy. So for me to put the money into it, it's simply, if I saw a deal on one, I might jump in and get it. You know, if somebody was unloading one because they really needed the cash and I could get a deal on it, then it'd be a range toy. And I know that the kids would love it. Plus, you know, it's smaller slider, it's easier to carry. So, you know, when you got all these rifle cases slung over your shoulder and you're dragging them uphill to the range, it's every light gun counts. So
Yeah.
but I think that my future acquisitions for the AK will probably be more steel mags. I'd like to get some more Romanian steel mags. I want to get at least one Croatian, try it out. But I think I'm still more of a traditional metal.
And you know that's kind of what you've done, you know, the whole time. That's always been what you've done. You know, I was going to say one thing. When you start to go like the pistol length AR and the AK, you'd mention it kind of as a range toy.
Yeah.
Think about as a truck gun or travel vehicle or a get home firearm because of the mobility of being able to use it easily from your vehicle, get in, get out, you know, and that kind of a situation.
If I want that, I'm just going to use a handgun. I don't have a problem with somebody having an SBR or an SBS.
Yeah.
The only thing that an SBR would be for me is a lighter rifle for my wife if she wanted a really light gun. But in that case, I just hand her the 1022. It's 5 pounds.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
You know, I mean, for me, it's like, okay, do I want a sawed-off shotgun or a 44 Magnum with an 8-inch barrel? Let me think. I'm going to take the 44 Mag. And somebody say, oh, that don't work. Okay, that doesn't work for you. I have no problem with you having that. I'm going to have this. I see, I hear all these people get bent out of shape over the NFA, which I totally disagree with. I don't like the NFA. I think it needs to go away. But the simple fact that they're getting bent out of shape over having these short rifles and short shotguns, just get a big bore revolver, problem solved. So, and then, you can tell the government to go stick it. But, that's just my opinion. It's not fact. But I was going to ask a question, though, regarding polymer magazines.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got 3 of the rotary magazines for the 1022. They're polymer. Mm-hmm. And then we've got 2 of the extended capacity ones.
BX25?
They're polymer. I can't remember. One's Champion and the other one, I can't remember what it is.
Okay.
Does anybody know if there are any steel or aluminum magazines for a 1022? Are there any metal mags for 1022?
Ooh. I don't know, guys. Maybe anybody out there in the chat, you want to chime in if you have any experience with all metal magazines for 1022. I had a 1022, but all I had for it was 2 BX25s and then the one stock magazine that came with it, which was, polymer also.
And then I'm also wondering, what are we're talking about rifle magazines mostly here. What about handgun magazines? And the only handgun I've got that I thought might have a polymer magazine is my Ruger SR40C because it's got a polymer receiver. But it come with metal mags. The one I bought after the fact, that's a metal mag. So I don't have anything with a plastic handgun mag. Are those pretty much as reliable as rifle mags or what?
I did the range day video that I did recently for the Veterans Day video. I had the Magpul, the polymer mags for my Glock 17, and I ran hundreds of rounds through those and the factory mags, dropping them, right out for reloads, and I had no problems with them. I've shot many rounds through they have not seen any kind of like heavy tactical use or training use other than just that range day. And they function just fine. I have no malfunctions. I was even shooting remanufactured reloaded ammunition through those and the stock Glock magazines. And I had no problems with FTEs or any kind of no jamming, no problems whatsoever. So, I like them and I can get them for $10 or $11. And so they're relatively inexpensive versus spending, or I guess I know sometimes they're 15 or so, but you can get them on sale. That's the only experience I have with polymer magazines because I think every pistol I have has steel or aluminum mags. So yeah, Night Strike, do you have any polymer? Do you have any polymer magazines for your Glock 17?
Glock 17? What?
Yeah.
I don't have a Glock.
I thought you had a Glock 17.
No,
I thought you had a Glock.
I like Glock 17s, but I do not own a Glock.
Oh, I thought maybe you had I thought you had one. I wasn't sure.
I might build one though. I'm considering building a Glock. Getting one of those polymer 80 kits. Yeah.
No, Squib, I'll tell you that if you want to go the polymer, try some of those polymer magazines. I've never had a problem with anything Magpul ever. I've used them in several different firearms, pistols and rifles, and they've been fine. I keep them around as just like grab and go magazines for my emergency ammo box. I take them out for just range sessions, and
I guess
never had
that's
any
just
problems. Yeah,
I have to find something that I have that they make it for other than the AR AK. So
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
out of the handguns I've got,
They
I
only,
would probably get it mostly just to try it out. Like I've tried
yeah,
out these, and I've been surprised that the polymer works well. I'm
yeah,
still gonna opt out for or default to steel for the AK and aluminum for the AR, and I don't mind having metal magazines for all my handguns.
yeah.
But I wouldn't mind trying one out, just see what it does.
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean, I think they only make them. I'm probably wrong about this, but I think they only make Magpul only makes polymer mags for the Glock 19 and the Glock 17.
Yeah, and I haven't got
Or
on the Glock
they might be
train yet.
compatible with other models. I mean, unfortunately, I'm not all knowing about Glocks, but I know that they work for the 17. I can recommend it, and they're relatively inexpensive.
Well, I'm not a Glock guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it another try, but I mean, if I had a choice, I'd get a CZ before I got a Glock.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I mean, dude, who wouldn't? I love CZ75s, man. They are sweet, sweet full size pistols, man. I love them. All right. For my end, when it comes to magazines, in my Bear Creek Arsenal AR-15, which is $450 AR-15, I have successfully fired. I've got CAA polymer magazines. These are Israeli made. These are really nice. These are like anywhere between $10 and $12 when you can find them. These are polymer. I've also got my PMags, which and here's the deal. And Squib, I'm the exact opposite of you because I got laid into the rifle game. I've only had an AR for about 6 years. And so when I bought it, I went all Magpul for everything. I thought, well, I'm getting the furniture. I might as well get the flip up sights and the magazines and just do the whole thing. And so I have very little experience with metal magazines in my AR-15. In fact, the only time I ever had issues were with the two Pro Mag magazines that came with my DPMS Oracle. So I switched to PMag after that. I kept getting some issues with jamming and ejecting, so I quit using those and I went to PMags. I also have MFT. You can get these like in 10 packs from Classic Firearms, and they're like $9, $8 for a single mag, or you can get 10 for $89, and these work really well. The plastic is flimsier than your PMags, and so I don't know how they would hold up to rugged. If you drive over them, would they break? I have no idea, but they work fine at the range. And then I got kind of an unusual one, which I bought at a gun show. I bought two of them at a gun show. These are the Pro Mag roller mags, and they actually use a roller track system with wheels and like tracks inside of it, like a train or whatever, that instead of like a traditional spring follower. And I just bought them because they were cheap and I wanted to try them, and they got a very aggressive stippling on them or texture, and you can put your magazine number in them with the little digits. The problem with this is I almost see that being a problem if you get any kind of debris in there, like a little rock or a stone. We're talking about something that has to roll over a track. I could see them jamming if you drop them in the dirt or the sand, but I haven't had any problems with them. So these have run good. Magazines, I would recommend people avoid, and this is just my opinion. I've had problems with these mags in two AR-15s, and maybe you guys can chime in. Maybe you haven't. I got a single Tapco that actually came with the Bear Creek Arsenal AR, and this one's had problems. It won't pick up the first round. Doesn't matter if I have a full mag, half full mag. It push the button, it won't pick up the first round. Maybe it needs to be sanded down a little bit. I haven't tried it, but I'm not a big fan of Tapco for ARs. Now for AKs, yeah, man, I love them. The other one I had problems with, I don't even know what company this is. I needed a shorter mag for bench testing, and this says Wilson, North Carolina. I don't know who makes this one. Do you know? Any guys know Wilson, North Carolina, man? Oh, this is Thermold. Okay, this is a Thermold 20-round mag.
Okay, I have to say something on that.
Yeah, man, go ahead.
Thermolds are like the worst magazines I have ever bought, and I will never buy a Thermold again. They are garbage.
Okay, well,
they are more garbage than Pro Mag. Pro Mag makes better mags than Thermold.
The only reason why I bought that is because this was like $7 or $8 at a gun store, and I needed something short because I just got my sight and clean case, and I needed something for bench testing that was not going to touch, that would not hit. And I couldn't find anything that was not like 15 or, I mean, lower. It's amazing if you can't get those PMags, a lower capacity AR mag can be kind of an expensive purchase. I mean, I couldn't get a 10 or a 20 round PMag easily without having to order one, and I really wanted to go to the range, so I bought the Thermal. And you're right, I had nothing but problems with it. It didn't matter which rifle I shot it through, jamming. Yeah, not a good situation. So yeah, now
I haven't had any bad experiences with Thermold But isn't it something though? The lower capacity magazines, not your standard capacity, but if you want to get something that carries less ammunition, you pay more for it. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's like, oh, you should see what I paid for when I get to my AK mags. You ought to see what I paid for this. It's a 5-round Chinese manufacturer steel AK mag, so I could do some good precision shooting. You know, this was insane when I paid for this, but I could not find any other decent ones out there. These are Chinese surplus steel 5-round mags, and I think I paid something like $30 delivered for this thing. It's crazy. I'm like, I could have bought like 3 P mags for the price of this one. Okay, so do you guys have experiences with the Tapco mags in your ARs? Have you guys had any problems with them at all?
None.
Okay, because it was just that, and it could just be this one mag. It could be something in the molding. Maybe I need to sand it down a little bit on the top of the lip so it'll seat a little bit better. But once it's locked in, I mean, maybe the mold doesn't go high enough on it. I don't know, but it really has trouble. I don't even know why I keep it loaded, to be honest with you. I don't even use it. It sits in the vault.
I think sometimes we end up with a bad batch, or we end up with something that just isn't compatible with our firearm. And when it's a first-time experience, or you've spent a lot of money on it, or something like that, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth, and for the rest of your life, you're never going to want them. I also think it sort of goes back to the whole, you know, the way I started out with firearms, there were no plastic magazines. So that's been the big thing to turn me away from. It's kind of like all those old generals before World War II going, what do we need a semi-automatic rifle for? They'll just waste ammunition. It's the old school of thinking. So I'm kind of the whole, what do we need plastic mags for? Aluminum is just fine. And it's just because I'm old. But I think that if you get a certain brand of magazine or certain brand of ammunition, or you get a certain type of firearm, and it's your first one, and you have problems right out the gate, and it's a pain to fix it, like your Sky pistol, right? You get a bad, you just say, I don't ever want this again. I can tell you that my Wasser, when I got it was a Jam-O-Matic right out of the box. And I sent it back to Century, and their gunsmith reworked it, and it came back, and it hasn't failed since. Yeah. Some people go, oh, well, that's a bunch of crap. They're junk. No, okay, it was brand new. Something went wrong in the manufacturing process. It had a 1-year warranty. Good thing I didn't let it sit around too long before I test fired it. But they didn't give me any issues about sending it back. It didn't cost me anything. Oh, I was out of rifle for a couple weeks. Well, I got 20 others that I could shoot.
Yeah, it's not like it's your only defensive tool, you know.
Yeah, it just gave me more time to build up ammunition. And when I got it back, I've tried feeding everything through it, including steel case, which I'm not a big fan of, and it feeds all of it. And that's why I tried all these different magazines. One of the reasons I was getting more mags was I'm like, I'm gonna make this thing jam no matter what. And it works even with the thermolds. And I could have written off all AKs from that one bad experience right out the box, but Century made it right, and the mags work, and but then there'd be somebody else next to me who got one, and maybe they never corrected the problem or whatever, and then for the rest of your life you're just going, they're junk. So I think it comes down to opinion more.
Now, I do have a question for you, Squib. This is actually from Scott Pacini out in the comment side on YouTube. Do you have any experience? You're the steel mag guy here with ARs. Do you have any experience with the Mako Group steel mags for AR-15s? That was his question.
You know what? Yeah.
Mako Group, M-A-K-O.
Yeah. It's here in my.
Here you go, Scott. Here's your answer. Yeah.
Where is it? It's buried underneath all these other ones.
That's a problem to have. It's
well.
Yeah.
Let me see. Brownells.
Have you used it? Have you used the Mako Group mag before?
That's you know what? No, it's still in the package. Well, I guess I need to take this one out with the Daniel Defense and break it in.
There you go. You got to do range video on it. You need to post it. So Scott, we'll let you know soon. We'll get you an answer.
You're doing a service, Travis, because I forgot I had these things. So thanks.
I'm dusting off magazines I pulled out of the vault. AWAG, what's that?
Jeez, I wish I could forget about things I own.
Oh, man. Okay, I was going to talk real quick on the AK-47 mags, and then Night Strike and I have a little story we need to tell. So my AMD 63 came with this. This is a South Korean surplus steel mag. Runs just fine. Looks just like two Croatian magazines that I ordered. You put them side by side. This sucker is just fine. I can't remember if it's a bolt hold open or not because I've only taken this one to the range a couple times. This thing weighs like 3 pounds. This is insane when it's full. And then I've also got the PMags. So you guys that are AMD 63 owners, the PMags should run just fine for you. These are not the new gens with the steel reinforced lips. I know a lot of guys swear by those or whatever they're, like aluminum reinforced lips. These are just all polymer. And I've got like 6 of these for the AMD 63 and they run fine. And then I've got the little 5-round Chinese mag, which I paid way too much for. I got this from Climags or Climags out of Arizona. And I think I paid like $25 delivered, but this was the only 5-round magazine I could find that actually had decent feedback that would work, and I could send it back if I had problems with it. It was supposedly new when I got it, but it was all beat up, but the springs were nice and tight. I took it apart. The inside finish was in really good shape. I think it had just been thrown around in bins. And so these work really good if you just want to do some good bench testing with your AK. And then we get to this, the Tapco Night Strike. How did I come to acquire this one of 2 Tapco mags? You want to tell the story? Because
I think this is your story, so you need to start off.
So it was Black Friday of 2016, and I had just gotten the Palmetto State ad in my phone, and they were advertising brand new surplus Croatian mags for $8 a piece, maybe free shipping. So I thought, man, I'm going to get 2 of them. I'm just going to get 2 of them. And I ordered them, didn't bother reading the feedback or the reviews on it. And I get them, and they're coming, they're packed in factory grease, and I get them all wiped up and cleaned off. And they will not seat. The paddle will not lock into place. Hey, AmmoCast joining us. The magazine will not lock into place in my AMD. So then I did a video where I took a Dremel. I did a video complaining about it, saying, guys, don't buy these if you have an AMD 63. They're not going to work. I went back and read the reviews, and are you just going to? And then he did another. She's just sitting there staring. You're freaking me out, kitty. Okay. And so anyway, I read the reviews on it, and everybody was saying, oh no, the AMD 63s, don't buy these mags for that gun. AK-47 Operators Union did a video where 4 out of 5 of his AKs would not take Croatian magazines. And so then I did that video, and then Night Strike reached out to me. He's like,
he did another video after that where he was dremeling on it.
Yeah, I dremeled the heck out of it. It still wouldn't seat. The paddle would not lock into place. So first of all, the moral of the story, let's spoiler alert. Do your reading, read some reviews, do some studying on these magazines before you invest in them, especially if you're going to go buy a bunch of them for one of your guns because they're on sale. Hope to God they work or they don't need a lot of modification to work. So then I did the second video, and then Night Strike, he reached out to me, and didn't you say, hey, if you want to do a mag swap, I've got a couple mags I can send you. You can send me yours. And I said,
yeah,
dude.
So what I ended up doing is I told Travis, I'll give you some Tapcos, and you can send me those Croatians because I'd rather have steel mags than polymer for my AK, just because of the fact that I like metal mags more than I like polymer, even though I have a shit ton of polymers.
See, I feel like I'm neglecting things because all I have is mostly polymer, except for that Korean one.
So,
yeah.
So what happened is Travis sent them to me. And I sent him one used Tapco and one new Tapco just because, I felt kind of bad giving him a used one that already worked. But it already worked in my AK, so it shouldn't have had any problems in his.
And your AK is AMD 63 based, right? The receiver?
AMD 63 receiver, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And here's the thing. I get the box from Travis. I open the box. I do not look at which mag it is. I just pull the magazine out. And it locks into place in my AK just fine. But when I pull it out, I find that the mag that I've gotten out of the box is the one that Travis had dremeled on to try and get to fit in his AK. Watch, he's getting sour right there. He is sour right there.
I'm upset because I wanted to buy a bunch of these and just get a ton. I was going to go back and maybe buy 10 or 20 of them, just have a whole stash I could keep.
Hold on. The story's not over yet.
Oh, no.
Okay?
No. Yeah.
So I took the magazine out, and I reach into the box and pull the non-modified magazine out. And I lock that into my AK, and it works just fine. And I've told Travis before that if it's not locking into his AK, it's one of two things. One, either the magazines are out of spec, or two, a lot of the magwells that are in AKs right now aren't in spec.
Yeah. Because it should work, but like I said, when I saw it tested in other models, I think in the AK-47 video, Operators Union video, was the Vepr. It did work in, and then it didn't work out of the other 4. And I think one of the guns that he had, one of the rifles, was a Yugo M70, and it wouldn't seat either. But then like another one did, I don't know. So it was just really inconsistent. So I'm staying away from them, unfortunately, because they're so inexpensive and it looks exact build quality heft felt exactly like my Korean mag. So I don't know what the problem
Oh,
was.
shit, I'll probably buy more.
Yeah, but they've got them on sale all the time. So the Tapco, and the reason why it's sanded is because you can't get the Tapco will seat properly, but you have to thin out the top. And there's other people again that have AMD 63s that in reviews for these they say that they'll work, but then I'll see people that will get this with their rifle when they buy it from Classic when they get their AMD 63, and this will work with no modifications. So Knife Strike, I think you're right. I think when they make them, they must have certain tolerances that the gun has to fall in between, and if it meets the tolerances, then it ships, and if it doesn't, I don't know. They must have a lot of variance in that magwell when they produce them.
The problem is, and I've said this before, if you get a magazine and if it's in the right spec, but it's not fitting in your rifle, it's one of two reasons. One, your magwell is out of spec, or two, your magwell probably just has too tight a tolerance and it needs to be opened up a little bit.
Yeah, I think I will at this point. I think I'm going to take mine to the gunsmith and have him just look at it, because it would be nice to find out if it needs a little bit of milling done on it. But it's
You might want to go get a pro mag, go get one of those mags that doesn't work in your AK, and just bring it to him and say, "Hey, I bought a box of these. These aren't fitting in my AK. Can you take a look at the AK magwell and open up the magwell a little bit?"
Yeah, and I think that would definitely help out a lot. Yeah, so it's one of those things where if you get these deals in the mail and you want to just go buy a bulk shipment of magazines, you get that, you go that route, you better make sure that they're going to work. And that's why I talked to Matt on Never Enough Ammo about his, because I know he's got a lot of Tapco AK mags. I said, have you ever tried it in your AMD 63? And I think he said no. Like, you might want to make sure that it works.
Here's the funny thing. You know Raphael here on Gun Channels, right?
Yeah.
He bought the whole, what was it, the 10-pack of those?
Oh, the Croatians or the Tapcos?
The Croatians. He bought the 10-pack of the Croatians, and he's got the same AMD from Classic Firearms that you got.
Yeah.
And guess what? When he pulled one out of the box, it rocked right in.
It's frustrating as a gun owner, because I know first world problems, right? But it's like, they're such a good deal. They're so inexpensive. They're one of the few sub $10 brand new steel mags out there in the market, and my gun doesn't like them. So anyway, enough of that. Oh God. Hey,
which is why I said it sounds like yours is just a little bit, either it's too tight or it's a little bit out of spec, because he got the same brand, the same model AK, and it works just fine, his AK.
Wouldn't it be a height issue? Because the magazine will go right into the well. It just won't lock.
If it doesn't lock, that's not a height issue.
Because I was thinking it won't go in far enough to actually lock the paddle.
Because it might be too tight on the sides for it to go any further up.
Or it's too low, like the top of the lower is too low.
I would get another, if you really want to find out, get another Croatian and take your rifle to the gunsmith.
There we go. All right, I'm gonna have to do a follow-up video. I'll go ahead and get on the wire and go ahead and order one. So and hey, since we're talking about magazines, if you guys have another place to check out, I want to promote these guys, csspecs.com. I had a M77 308 Winchester AK that I purchased a couple of years ago. I did a few videos on it, and it came with an absolutely god-awful 5 or 10 round magazine. It looked like it was made from like sheet metal. The thing was, I had it taped together just to function at the range. Well, CS Specs came out and made 20 round magazines for that rifle. And they make some, you're going to pay a premium for it, but they are solid mags. Check them out if you've got certain Vepers or Segas that you're having trouble finding magazines for. They actually make them for hard to find, not hard to find rifles, but rifles that have magazines that are a little hard to source. Like 762 by 54R, all steel mags. That is one place I definitely recommend. I think a lot of people don't know about them because you might just give up on looking around online, but they do make really good mags. But we're talking, maybe upwards around $40, $35 to $40 per mag. But if you just need a couple and you want one that's going to work, so I bought one for the M77 for the AK that I actually owned. I bought two, and they're awesome. So, do you guys have preferences in places you order your mags from? What do you guys recommend? AWAG, what do you think? Where do you go?
I go to Midway, but right now, since Brownells likes to have free shipping on certain orders, and they have a little bit better prices, I'm going to start going with Brownells.
Okay. Yeah, free shipping is a biggie because you can get slammed. I've ordered a few parts in PSA and they sack me $7 or $8 for this little tiny part for shipping. So I mean, it's like, oh my god, really? So nice, Rick. What about you? What's your preference for mags? You strictly PSA all the way?
No, no.
No. Okay.
If it's AR-15 mags, I
Mhm.
get them from gun shows, as I said, because it's
Oh, yeah.
cheaper. Because I've already factored in, whether getting shipping and whatnot. And with my gas, honestly, it's cheaper just to go and wait for the gun show. But if
Yeah.
it's for other rifles, I go through like Lee's mags. I go through gun.deals to see who has the cheapest mags, for sale.
Yeah.
Just go through that.
Cool. Squib, what about you? Where do you like to go? Because it sounds like you've got a pretty decent collection of magazines there. What works for you?
I'm on Brownells right now.
Oh, hey, there you go. I know
There you
their
go.
site is just, man, they're just like the Amazon of the gun world, just in terms of
Yeah,
what they sell and what they offer in their customer service and stuff. Yeah.
I mean, I suppose if my go-to for most stuff is Midway, I think that their site's easier to navigate. But Midway, Brownells, Graff and Sons. Where else?
Oh, so we got
I
Aim
get
Surplus.
some of my you know what I haven't bought from AIM Surplus in forever. I think I got my Romanian steel mag from Apex because I get parts from them. On occasion, gun shows. It used to be back in the day. I would pick up stuff at gun shows, but not so much anymore. The prices at the gun shows are just ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean, I understand.
Yeah,
They've got a business to pay for, and they got to rent the table and all that and whatnot. But if I can buy it online for $10 and they're going to sell it for $40 at the gun show, I just can't. Meet me halfway, man.
The one that just drives me nuts, and I don't know how these guys can sell anything, is ammo prices at gun stores on just 9mm. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and promote one particular business over another, but when you're asking $15 a box for something I can get for 10 or 20 I can get for 15, it's like you want to support the little guy. Okay, don't get me wrong. That's why I try to shop locally as much as I can into smaller businesses, the pawn shop I go through. But it's at a point where it's like, wow, and to the person that might not know, to the person that's going to a gun show for the first time because they want to go get a gun and they want the advice, they want that experience, they want to talk to the person as they purchase the gun. It's like, man, you're really getting it. Or even the prices of the firearms themselves. I mean, again, I buy locally as much as I can, but if they're going to charge you full retail on it, then versus what you can get it for locally or through your FFL, even with the FFL transfer fee, I know we're kind of straying off the topic of magazines here, but
not really,
yeah.
no, because
for
magazine
prices,
fall into that too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I've got one local. The closest one to my house sells mags for about $1 more than what I pay online. I don't have a problem going to him for a mag.
Yeah.
Some of these other places, it's just like going to the gun shows. It's double, triple. It's like, why would I pay $40 for this when I can get online for 10? Well, because here you don't have to wait, and here you don't have to pay shipping. Well, dude, I'm not just going to go on Brownells and buy one $10 mag. I'm going to, pick up some powder and some primers and some bullets. I'm going to get some parts. I'm going to get some CLP. I'm going to, I mean, the list goes on and on. So, and if somebody had a magazine for something that was hard to find, then I'd probably pay the premium if I really needed it. But I mean, that strays away from the polymers because all the polymer stuff is new stuff. It's not for antique rifles or something.
Yeah.
Or handguns, I should say. But some of these places, and I understand they've got bills to pay. They've got people to pay. They got insurance and permits and rent and everything else. So they've got to make money. But I mean, if they know it sells for $10 online, selling it for $40 in a store, the only person who's you're gonna have the people who won't buy anything with a credit card, that cash only. They're gonna go in there and they're gonna pay that much for a mag. You're gonna have the people that don't know anything about guns. They're new to the gun thing, and or they're buying a gun that day and they want to get a spare mag that day because they're taking it to the range that day. So that's how and these gun stores, they know it. They
Well, it's funny. Somebody go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No.
Well, I was gonna say if they had like cheap ammo, and their hook was, we'll get you in here with the cheap ammo, but you're going to pay more for accessories. Maybe I'd pick up some accessories, like you're saying, support the mom and pop.
Yeah. Somebody had told me maybe this is not okay. Walmart actually sells Magpul PMags. They do, and I'm surprised that Walmart doesn't carry just one peg of PMags. It really kind of surprises me since you can you can buy them online. Oh, I guess they sell through alternate stores, but people had mentioned that you can get PMag stuff through Magpul items through Walmart.com. I was like, really? That was like the last place I would think to check, just because I'm so used to going to the standbys, Brownells and Midway and places like that. Yeah. Hey, we do have a question here I want to get to. Like I said, we're going to have to unfortunately limit it to an hour, so we're starting to run out of time here. There was a question here earlier. We're gonna change topics now, and you guys might have more experience in this than me, but I did kind of have a situation like this. Somebody was asking about having an opportunity to buy a 6 Sauer P210, and
Buy it.
here we go. It says, question for you, Travis, getting into a little bit of an argument in a SIG group on Facebook. USA made P210, because I know they've got new ones that they're selling or they're making. They showed them at SHOT Show this year. Gonna make the value of the Swiss German made model go down, or will the Swiss made German model hold its value once the American model starts to come out? When I bought my Glock 17, I purposely bought the American made, the Georgia made model. Isn't it Georgia? Yeah. I didn't want, not that I had anything against the Austrian one. I just wanted to, I know the money goes back to Glock in the end, but I wanted it to go to those factory workers in the US factory. So that's why I bought an American made Glock. And, there's people saying, oh, it's inferior. It's going to have, I know maybe they use a different coating versus what they use in Austria because of EPA rules. But that's the only experience I have of having an opportunity to source a country of origin made gun versus a USA production one. What would you guys do from an investment standpoint? Is it worth it to spend the money? Because the P210s are not, they're not an inexpensive handgun. What do you guys think?
I'm going to say,
go ahead. Yeah.
I'm going to say this right now on SIGs. I don't think that the prices on SIGs from outside the United States will go down.
Yes.
But here's the thing. The SIGs that were made in West Germany, those SIGs, the prices on those are going up because there's no longer a West Germany.
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw that out there because there are more than a couple models that were made in West Germany before there was no longer a West Germany. Before Germany reunited with its other half.
Every time I talk to somebody about SIGs, they would say, make sure you get the West German model. The only two SIGs I've ever fired, the P220 and the P228, were both West German production models. And they said, you got to go with the originals. They're built like a vault. They're solid. And I mean, they are good shooters. I'm not going to, and I would probably personally, I'd pay a premium to get that West German origin model just because of the positive experiences I've had with it. And I'll tell you right now, guys, you look at a P210, I can see why this is a big debate, because I'm looking at one right now on Gunbroker. 6 Sauer P210 Legend Target 9mm, $3,275 is the current bid, and it doesn't end until tonight.
Is it a West German?
I am assuming so, because I mean I think it's used. I don't. Are the new ones even out yet? Because I haven't even seen them on the website.
I haven't seen them either.
Yeah, this says made in Germany. Well, I don't know if it's West German, but it says
if it says made in Germany, it may not be worth it. Unless it says West Germany, then it's worth it.
It is insane the prices these. I'm looking at some at 31. Here's one for $8,800. Somebody's asking, here's a Sig P210 5LS long slide, $19,905.
I mean, so 22 long rifle one.
This is let's see. This one comes with different. No, I don't think so. These look like 9mm. Yeah, the ones that have the 22 conversion kits cost even more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
When it comes to SIGs, I was actually looking at a P210 before I got this, and at the time, the one that I was looking at was like $2,100, and then I thought about, oh hey, they made West German P226s, so I tried looking at that, and then I looked at the US made ones, and I looked at them from a machining and manufacturing standpoint. The West, actually from here up, was like welded right here and then machined flat, whereas this slide on the US made ones are one big piece of steel. So I was looking at that practicality standpoint. I was like, the machined one would probably be a little more reliable. So I ended up getting a US made new production P226 in 357 SIG. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents. And I still really want a P210. because they're freaking cool with the wood grips and everything. I think they're absolutely beautiful handguns.
You're probably gonna have to sell the Super though if you wanna get one though. I mean, I'm not seeing anything under $4,000, but maybe when the new ones come out from Sig Direct or whenever they're making the U.S. Made Sig 210, you might not pay. Obviously, you're not going to pay that kind of price for it, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess to me, there's always going to be those people that want that original, that German made quality. They're going to want the one that's made there just because that's where the origin is, and that's because a lot of guys that say if you're going to get a 226, make sure you get a German made model. But from like an investment standpoint, I don't know. Do you guys think the prices will go down when the US 210s come out?
I
If they're not already
what
out?
will probably happen is the U.S. made ones, they're gonna probably mass produce them and keep them around like the $2,000 mark.
Yeah.
But then, since people are buying the U.S. made ones, it'll make the West German ones or slightly post-West German ones, it'll make their value rise a little bit. So probably
You don't
you're
think it'll
probably going to be
decrease because
seeing
now there's suddenly more P210s on the market and people aren't going to pay the 4 when they can get one for 2 just because they want the gun to shoot,
It's also in the standpoint of almost like Mosin's. Like you can get a 9130 for $200.
Yeah.
Roughly. But with the M39, which is the Finnish ones, you find them for like $500-$600.
Or entry level with crack stocks for 3, and they
Yeah.
go up from their hand select as another $50. I've been watching the Mosin prices, and they do continue to rise. Right? They are. Sometimes you'll see them pop up, but no, you're right. You're right about that. Definitely. The Finnish capture models. There's guys here in the chat that are saying, okay, West German SIGs and non-New Hampshire SIGs will always hold their value. Some West German slides were stamped and they're still better. First of all, I think any gun, just about any decent gun, is a good investment in terms of price, because eventually, at some point, that model may go out of production and the prices are naturally going to go up. I'm starting to see that with my wife's Rossi Circuit Judge. The carbine, they're starting to go up in value because I don't think they're in production anymore. So any gun, once it goes out of production, or even when the 210s come in, people are going to want that original because they're going to think that the U.S. made one, the new one is inferior. Like a lot of stuff that you buy these days that's made in a different country, something is lost. So I would say get it. I would say from an investment standpoint, you're at least going to break even when you sell it or make a little money off of it. I would go. My argument would be to go with the German manufacturer. So I don't know if we're spending too much time on this topic, but I wanted to definitely get that question out there. Guys, if you have any other questions, let me know. We're going to be wrapping it up here in just a minute or two. Unfortunately, I got a bunch of stuff I need to work on today, so otherwise I'd stay online for hours with you guys. But see, I don't think I see any more questions out there in the chat.
I mean, I have a question sort of regarding magazines.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Do you think magazines affect accuracy?
Ooh. Man. Okay, why do you ask that question? Because I'm sitting there thinking once the round is chambered, I guess it could put some pressure on the bolt carrier group or on the firing mechanism. It could push up on. Yeah, I mean that's a possibility. If you had too much spring pressure pushing up on the bottom of a barrel, that could affect your accuracy. Yeah.
Is when, especially on some of your magazines with steel feed lips, it'll actually scratch the case, which can maybe throw off like the internal pressures.
Okay.
Me being a precision snob, owning freaking scopes and everything, but I would say it sort of does in a way, probably not noticeable, but if you were to use, say, like a regular PMAG where it doesn't scratch the case, it would probably give you a little bit better accuracy. But at the same time, it could basically deform the case as it's going into the chamber because of the plastic.
And for the long distance shooters out there, they could see something happen, some weird anomaly that pops up at certain distances because you start to see that effect amplified once you start to reach out there a little bit and the wind starts to kick in and you start to lose momentum. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, I'm saying that's not, there's no doubt there. What do you guys think about that? Nice Striker Squib? Do you guys have any, what do you think? Is it possible that your mag could affect if it's denting a case before it fires because of the way it's pushing up on it? Any ideas on that, guys?
I don't think a mag would do that.
No, a mag.
I mean,
a mag wouldn't have the force to dent a case.
right. It might get it jammed in the mechanism of the firearm or whatnot, but the steel in the firearm is going to have the resistance to crush a brass case or dent it or something like that. The magazine, plastic, metal or not, it doesn't matter. I don't think that's going to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it'd be interesting to do some range tests, like maybe try to do some identical, like one day take it out and then the next day take it out before the barrel heats up and see if you notice any difference with it. Try to stretch out as far as you can on some shots and see if you use the same ammo, use the same conditions that you can, use the same firearm, obviously. And okay, last question, guys, and then we're gonna wrap it up. What's your take on Magpul AKP mag splitting when dropped? Then I say it's definitely a mag you don't want to buy. You want to stick with steel. That would be my opinion on it. I've never had any break, but I tend to drop onto gravel or just grass when I'm out at the range. So if they're going to split, then it's definitely something that you do not want to consider. Guys, what do you think about that? You ever had any mags break on you at all from just regular range use?
Never, but
No.
I've been advised, don't drop the magazines at the range, because you're going to eventually you're going to speed up the process, which they wear out. You could dent them, scratch them, damage them, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I understand that when you're doing a mag dump or you're trying to act tactical, it's fun. And I'm not going to lie, I've done quick mag changes and dropped my mags right there in the gravel. But unless you're doing some sort of competition or specific training that is where you have to do it, in which case you're prepared in advance. You know you're going to be, possibly damaging or wearing these things out.
Yeah. Then you can justify doing it. Yeah.
For target, for plinking, for your regular training, take your magazine out, set it to the side, put another one in, that sort of thing. If you're doing like the competition shooting Foos does, I'm sure he's going to drop mags. Well,
probably, definitely.
He's already got himself ready financially for wearing them out, that sort of thing. So
yep, there you go. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and have to call it here. So AWAG, any parting words before we go? I want to thank you for joining me today and coming in early. You want to say anything before we're out?
Just support your local police, I guess. I don't know.
There we go. All right, check out your show, definitely. Check out your channel. Check out any videos you got.
Definitely trying to do a video on if magazines affect accuracy. It's probably going to be like a 3-part series, kind of like I did my SWFA Super Sniper Scope reviews.
Yeah, those are fun to watch, man. Guys, do check out AWAG's channel over on YouTube. A lot of good stuff out there, because I hadn't seen a lot of videos on that scope, and yours were awesome. So cool.
Thank you.
All right, Nice Strike. Any parting words, man? Anything? Any knowledge you want to impart on us before you go?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you want to say?
That's what I wanted to say.
That's make sure your gun's in spec. That's the moral of the story. Otherwise, you might get burned, right? And don't just buy stuff on PSA when it shows up in your mailbox this morning. And guys, I made an impulse purchase here. I did pick up. If you haven't seen it yet, not to steal your thunder, Nice Strike, but PSA is selling
steal my thunder.
Dirt cheap uppers right now. So I had to order one. I got a 16-inch mid-length without a bolt carrier group and a charging handle for $159, free shipping, no sales tax. I could not say no to that. They're selling out quick, so definitely check that out if you guys don't have them. Because I'm gonna do another build or get a different lower for it and a bolt carrier group. So, but
by the way, don't miss Hit or Miss Tuesday nights, 9:00.
Definitely, I will be there. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome. We're doing a 3-hour video. Is that what you said? A 3-hour extended session. We can make it 3 hours. We can make it 3 hours if you want. We can let Matt come in and.
I do not think I could do a 3-hour Hit or Miss.
And then you're going to finish up with a desk pop. Is that what you said? It was going to be a special.
No. If I get 1,000 subscribers, I'll do a desk pop.
Really?
Well, then I guess you'll never do a desk pop.
Oh man, come on, guys, get over to Nice Strike's channel, subscribe. He's got the capacity to do the. We want to see the desktop. We want to see it happen. That's definitely the way to go. All right, thanks, man. Squib, what would you say, man? There you go. Oh god, that would be awesome. Just some guy just randomly shooting out the window. So, Squib, what would you say, man? You got any parting words for us before we go? I want to thank you for joining us again today.
I want to thank you for having me.
No problem, man. Very cool to have you come in. Your show
load Monday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern, and you know, if anybody's on YouTube and they haven't checked out Gun Channels yet, check out Gun Channels. You know, it was a while before I got on. I was listening to shows or watching shows on YouTube, and finally I said, all right, I got to see what this Gun Channel thing is, and met a lot of interesting people, and it's a great resource. You can talk to other gun guys, and you know, you got a question, or maybe you need some help with something, some advice, or hey, where'd you get that? Or you might even just you know, meet up with them at a gun show nearby or something.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to try to get down to, at some point I want to go to the Tulsa Gun Show, because I know some of our members go there. And I'm coming up on my first year anniversary being a Gun Channels member. I'd only been listening for about 6 months. I'd been listening to G-Web's, you know, Daily Gun Show a lot on YouTube before I even really went over to Gun Channels. And then, yeah, it's awesome. It's definitely worth it being a member. I mean, you get your free membership, or you can get your paid membership. And it's just because of guys like Night Strike and Matt over Never Enough Ammo that I'm doing a podcast today. Everybody's just been so cool. And the fact that you can ask people questions and they don't sit there and rip on you or make you look like an idiot, not unless you're doing a podcast. But that's cool.
Yeah,
that advice. There's so
we
much
rip on each other a little bit.
Yeah, but somebody won't sit there and
Yeah.
just shame you because you got an honest question about something. You know, I had a guy that posted a question on a video last night about he bought a Jimenez J9 used. And he said, yeah, man, he goes, why is it that my slide jams every time I pull back? Why isn't my slide locks open every time I pull back on the slide? And I go, is there any ammo in the magazine? He goes, no. And I said, dude, okay, I want you to go to Gun Channels and I want you to start watching some videos. I said, you need to watch a video on how to safely use a semi-automatic handgun, because he didn't understand that it would lock open when it runs out of ammo. And I said, well, take out the magazine.
That's any semi-automatic handgun. That's not.
I know. And he goes, well, I'm kind of a newbie to 9mm. I said, please. I said, I'm not trying to preach to you here, but I said, you go to Gun Channels, ask some questions about safe use of a firearm, go watch some videos. I said, you need to make sure, because if that thing has a problem cycling and he's looking at it and he's not paying attention to what he's doing, or there's people around him. I mean, it was one of those times where I'm like, this guy had an honest question. And I'm like, he posted that question in the comments on the YouTube video. And I thought, you know, there's a chance that somebody could show up and say, hey, moron, why do you even have a gun? You know, we don't want that. And I never get that kind of reaction from anybody in the general chat over on the Gun Channel side. I think that's a good resource for people. So if you know somebody that's new to firearms, have them go over and join.
Yes.
I think it's a good place where you can educate yourself. I can ask a question about anything, and somebody out there has that firearm and has experience with that firearm, can make recommendations on it. And I've always got nothing but good information. So, yep, definitely cool.
I agree.
Yep. All right, guys. So, hey, thank you for joining me today. This is Caliber Corner. I'm Travis P11. Check out my channel over on YouTube. I want you guys to like or subscribe. You can follow me on all the social media. Thank the panel for joining me today. Thank you guys out there in the chat for joining in. We got a lot more people with us now this morning. I know it's an early time slot. Yeah. She won't leave me alone this morning. I tried to run her out this morning. I'd throw darts all over the house and she chases them and fetches them and brings them back. But man, she's got so much energy this morning. I need to make her like a retriever. See if I could have her bring back a pheasant or something. If I could somehow train her. I might have missed the window on that though. I don't know. So she's my biggest fan. She sits there and watches everything I do, gun related. I don't know if she's just laughing at me inside or what the deal is, but anyway, so all right, guys, so thanks for joining me today, and hopefully we'll meet again next week. Not sure about the topic. It kind of hits me during the week, and I'm sure I'll have another dramatic background for you in the next video. Otherwise, I think that's about it, guys. So AWAG, you got anything to say before we get out?
Make a suggestion for next week's topic?
Dude, go right ahead, please, because I it usually comes to me when I'm out mowing the yard or working outside. Yeah.
Best budget optics.
Okay, there we go.
Me and Travis already have an idea on that.
Oh, I'll have mine handy. I've got one ready to go. I've got a gem. Actually, I have two. Had two. All right, that's the topic. Best budget optics for the money. What can you not go wrong with? And is there any brands you should avoid? So, all right, we'll save that topic for next week, guys. Thank you for joining in today. This has been the Caliber Corner, and we will talk to you next week. All right, thanks a lot.
Bye, Felicia.